Hello,
Hi, Facebook. How are you?
my name is I'm
So this is Sourena Vasseghi, and Sourena is the writer who can't write and the speaker who can't speak.
I know that you. Yes, you could. I love you.
Are my limitations
Paying
paying off? That's a good question.
It's a good question. Do it crazy.
It's
Free question.
a what kind of question?
Strange.
It's a strange question.
We together to ask something that gets away.
That's true. We do think of limitations as something that gets in the way of the success that we're trying to get.
But I'm gonna hear how you're doing dealing with your liberty is a part of the way
But you're going to tell us today how dealing with limitations can pay off for you in a positive way?
Yes.
Okay.
But first, I have to figure
Right, so again, this is Sourena Vasseghi, and Sourena is the speaker who can't speak and the writer who can't write. And honestly, you did hear that right. Sourena doesn't speak so well, and he can't write, but he's still an author and a speaker, and he's created a goal. I mean, he's created a career as something he can't do, and from that, he has a goal, and his goal is to help you reach your goals. He wants to empower you and to inspire you and to motivate you to live the life you want and to achieve your goals. Me? Well, I'm Jamila Doolin, and I kind of help Sourena bring a story to life.
My goal is to help you do it and show you how they can be off.
So today, Sourena wants to help you learn how to deal with your limitations so that they can actually pay off for you. So that's kind of cool. It's like the whole idea of, taking something that should be your challenge and turning it into something that works for you. It's really cool.
Yeah. Can you do a favor?
Sourena, you want me to do you a favor?
No, I don't do it.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
You don't do way too much.
I'm doing too much? Well, thank you. But what would you like? You would like everybody to know?
We want to share the message.
You want everybody to
Share the message.
share the message. That's right. When you hear something good, you shouldn't just keep it to yourself. You just gotta share it. And so that's what Sourena's asking you to do. If you hear something you like, just share it with your friends so they can go off and be empowered and inspired and motivated to do the things they want to do in their lives too. Don't just keep it to yourself.
Yeah, so you like it, share all your time. All your time, email to your friends, wherever you want.
Yeah, email it to your friends, share it via Facebook, whatever it takes. Yell it from the mountaintop for what we care. Just share it and get the idea out there.
So, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right.
The first thing I want to go is not you.
All right, so the first thing Sourena wants to talk about is this. Your limitations are not unique. You heard it. You want to think they are, but
They're not. Everybody had limitations. Everybody had limitations. Everybody. It's not one of the word is dealing with something.
that's right. Everybody likes to think that their limitations are unique, but they're not. And somewhere in the world, there's somebody who's dealing with something similar to what you're dealing with.
It might not be exactly what you're dealing with, but you can put it together.
Right, it might not be exactly, but if you kind of put it together a little bit, it looks like what you have. Yeah.
For example.
Okay, what's your example?
For example, there might not be a guy with a time to
Right. There might not be somebody with Sorena's exact challenges doing what Sorena's doing, but
definitely there are people
who need an interpreter on stage. There are other people in the world who need help getting ready in the morning.
There are people that need help timing. There are people that need help timing.
Yeah, and there are people who need help driving, you said?
Timing.
Typing? Okay, because I was going to say, yeah.
And there are people who need help.
Yeah, and there are other people in the world who need help, like Sourena needs help.
Something like one person that do it all the time that you have.
There may not be one person who deals with every challenge that you have in the exact same way that you have to deal with it.
And there are people that do amazing. You put the time to say, yeah.
That's right, and there are people who deal with the challenges, and you said get to amazing success. What did you say?
Yeah, they do really good.
Yeah, they deal with the challenges and they get to amazing success with the same challenges or similar challenges as you have.
And
yes, let's not sugarcoat it. The limitations, they're real. They are real.
My belief is set up around limitations.
Right. So Sourena just said that his business is set up around his limitations.
No, I don't do that. I just accept the fact that my process is a little different than your process.
Right, and it's not something that Sourena necessarily dwells on. He just realizes that his process may have to be different than your process, but you deal with it.
Yeah, and you don't know with you. The first thing is you don't know with you don't know your.
Right, and you heard that. Sourena doesn't ignore his limitations. He deals with them. What happens when you try to ignore it, Sourena?
You won't get to me.
Yeah, so what Sourena said was, when you ignore your limitations, you just don't get to amazing success.
For example, if I ignore the fact I was doing it.
If you ignored?
That I was doing it.
All right, so Sourena said, here's an example. If he ignored that he had a speech impediment. And he said, Jamila, you know what? I don't need you to
no people understand me.
You said, and I just decided to go live? Well, then nobody would understand me.
You say, I need you to
So instead it was, hey, Jamila, you know what? I need you to help me on Facebook Live once a week. And so here I am.
Let's get into it.
All right, you ready to get to it?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get down to the business now.
So, how do
this is what everybody wants to know, because we all know our limitations are real. We know what they are. Now, and we pretty much know we can't ignore them. But the thing is, we want to know how it is we can make our limitations pay off.
So, back in college.
All right, so back in college.
I used to get really frustrated.
Sourena used to get really frustrated.
Because I could not interact with the material the way that most students yeah, the media, the one,
All right. So what Sourena said was he got frustrated because he couldn't interact with the material the same way that so many of the other students could.
I could not just remember my book and reading books.
Yeah, Sourena said, you know, he couldn't just whip out a book and just start reading it. It didn't work that way.
I need everyone, I need everything read to me.
Everything had to be read to Sourena.
I could not take notes.
You couldn't take notes?
Yeah, I had to get notes. Not really.
Right, so Sourena couldn't take notes, so somebody else had to take the notes for him. Oh, that could stink.
It's not the fact of picking up, it's the fact of reading notes. You just retain it.
Yeah, it's not the fact so much of the I couldn't take the notes. It's, as we know, you know, just the act of writing something down helps you retain it.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't do that.
Yeah. I do not take a piece of paper under. I forgot.
You couldn't take a piece of paper and
jot something down.
and just jot something down.
And this is affecting me a lot.
I'm sure. And so this, of course, frustrated Sourena a whole bunch.
But you know what?
What?
It paid off.
But ultimately, it paid off.
Because 90% of it is that.
Because 90% of what Sourena does, he's able to do in his head.
I did it with Alma, I did it with Alma, right?
Right, and that's something that you now do with all of your writing.
So, I did it with business processes.
So you do that with business processes?
Everything done, everything is done.
It's just so amazing. So everything is done in Sourena's head. Absolutely amazing.
The way I read books or anything like that, I'm able in my head looking forward. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he plays with everything in his head and gets it all together in his head. But this is a skill that you learned.
Yeah, because I have to deal with my daddy.
Yeah, it's a skill that Sourena learned because he had to deal with his challenges. He couldn't take notes in school, so he had to learn do everything in his head. So you had this limitation, and instead of it just being a limitation, it actually helps you develop a skill.
Yeah.
Right.
So now I can go to business comment or what and retain everything.
Right. So now Sourena can go to a conference, listen to a lecture or whatever, and retain like everything. And it's just because.
It's because I could not take notice and be off. I can read a book. I can read a book in 20 minutes.
Right. And so, yeah, it came about, this skill was born out of the fact that Sourena couldn't take notes. He had to learn how to do everything in his head. And the same thing for writing. He couldn't just sit down and write real fast. He had to do it in his head first. And so the skill was born from that. Mm-hmm. This limitation gave you a skill, which is in turn allowed you to be able to go to conferences and learn and write books very quickly because it's all in your head first. And
yeah. And the next thing we're saying, doing that, and I cannot tell me if I'm finding I can't eat it. He said, what do you need?
Is that from that skill too? That limitation?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so because Sourena is able to do so many things in his head, like even when he coaches, he's able to listen and process quickly because he's had to do that and really just kind of understand situations really well so that he can easily assess what it is the client needs.
Yeah, furthermore, I can't get caught. My life is a little slow.
Right, and so that's another limitation of yours. Your life is a little slower paced than that of most people.
I cannot just take out my phone and play on my machine.
So he said, look, I can't just get on the phone and play a game, or no Fortnite for you?
Yeah. No, but I know that's making me force me to get bored. And when I get bored, I get creative.
Right. So once again, the limitations, the lack of ability to use one's hands the way he wants to. You know, Sorena's been able to, he's had to stay away from just holding his phone and playing Candy Crush or sitting down. What? You're laughing at me?
No, because it's all true.
Right. Thank you.
It's all true. Yeah, because I can just, I don't have time to think.
Right, he doesn't have time to, he has time to think because he lacks the ability of being able to actually have, you know, being able to sit down and play Candy Crush, or to sit down and play, like my husband does, almost nightly Fortnite, or or whatever it is that can easily distract you.
Yeah, let me give you other examples.
What's another example? Okay, so James Earl Jones. And again, we're talking about how you take your challenge or your limitation and you make it pay off for you. So yours is paid off because it's allowed you to become a speaker and a writer. Yeah, and so now we're talk about James Earl Jones.
There's a way people think, it's
Right. So do we want to tell people who James Earl Jones is, or do you want to save that for the end?
I think everyone knows who he is.
You think everyone knows who he is? Yeah, just in case you don't know, James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader.
He's Arby's.
And he's
Arby's.
Arby's?
Yeah.
Like the sandwiches?
We have meat.
We have the meat?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So James Earl Jones, tell us about him, Sourena.
I'm not the father going to America.
Yes, he was the father in Coming to America.
He's one of the best voices out there.
Right, he is. He's one of the best voices and one of the most recognizable voices out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you hear his voice, you know it, and there's no denying it.
But do you know why has the voice?
Right, so do you know why he has the voice he has? What's the story behind that?
He has a stutter.
Right. The real thing is he has a stutter.
People do that in order to deal with stuttering in a different way.
Right, one of the ways to help someone who has a stuttering issue to deal with it is to actually change your voice.
Yeah. And that's why he's so successful.
And that's why he has the voice he has. He has to change his voice to avoid the stutter, and that's led him to be the voice of Darth Vader, the voice of Arby's, the father in Coming to America, and just basically one of the most recognizable voices of our time.
Yeah. You know, I had an interesting conversation.
So recently, Sourena had an interesting conversation. He has a friend named Roberta.
So he is a colleague, and
So yes, Roberto's a little more than a friend. You'd say he's a colleague, and he actually has done some consulting for you on occasion.
Yeah, you know what? You need help. You forced to be because you need help. You're forced to be.
Right. So Roberto talks about team building, and because Sorena's been, because he needs a lot of help and he can't do so many things on his own, he's been forced to build a team.
A lot of people that really have movies don't understand the value of a team.
Right. And so a lot of people who don't depend on others as much as Sourena does have a really hard time understanding the whole concept of depending or relying on others or a team.
Yeah, I can go out. I don't know, but I understand the value of a team.
Right. And so, again, this is a limitation that Sourena has, or this is the result of your limitations, rather, that you know how to build, work with, and lead a team, because Sorena's had to, because he couldn't do what he necessarily wanted to do without other people.
There's going to be two.
Yeah, and then that's going to lead to some products, mainly a coaching program, so you'll have to check that out. And
we get, you know what? The more successful one is the bigger the team. The bigger the team.
The bigger the team,
The more successful you can be.
the more
You can be.
the more successful you can be. So do you want to relate this? How does this all relate back to those people who are watching us?
So one comment is nobody understands my limitation. Nobody understands my limitation.
Right. So one common issue people have is this. They think to themselves, oh, these are my limitations and nobody understands and I can't do anything.
They look at errors.
They look at their limitations as
Roadblocks,
errors, mistakes.
Yeah, and I need to stop them.
Yeah, they look at these limitations as just basically something that stops them.
But if you know how to deal with it in a positive way.
But if you know how to deal with it in a positive way, what? Reload?
Everything in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a technical